So, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back. My name is Mamoor Ahmed and I will be your host from here onwards till right before the end. Now, after seeing all those passionate and intense speeches, I'm sure the poster presentation went really well. Overall, I have to say that all the posters were very impressive, considering you guys, most of you are doing it for the first time. Anyway, moving on. The oral presentation session is still going strong, and we have seen some really good presentation. The bar is set high, and I'm sure the upcoming teams are going to make this competition even more interesting. 5 more teams to go, and then we move on to the results. I see a few nervous people. Anyway, so let's not waste any more time and move on to the 7th team. So can we please have, with a round of applause, Pakistani Islamic Private School, Al-Ain.
Hello and a very good morning to all of you. Today, I'm Ubaid Rahman with my friend Muhammad Kaleem, and we came here from Pakistan Islamic Private School, and our presentation is on the topic access of clean water. So starting with the outlines. The outlines are introduction, problem, solution, and conclusion. Moving on to introduction. What do you people think access of clean water means? It means how many people have access to clean water and adequate sanitation. 85% of the population lives on the driest half of the planet. Water is life. Every drop of it gives the life to animals and plants. We all need water, and we need to provide water to other plants and animals. A small act can have a global impact to make this planet, a better place for living. If I will waste 1 drop of water, I know I will never get it back until I could make my personal effect by using different means like purification by modern and old ways of filtration. Moving on to the problems. 780 million people do not have access to clean water. 2.4 billion people do not have access to adequate sanitation. 1/3 of the global population do not have access to a toilet. In low and middle income countries, 1/3 of all healthcare facilities lack a clean water source. The water crisis is the #1 global risk based on impact to society, as announced by the World Economic Forum January 2015. Every year, 3.4 billion people die due to water-related diseases, and every 30 seconds, a child dies due to waterborne illness, which means that unsafe water is the #1 killer of life. 780 million people lack access to clean water, which is more than twice the population of the United States. 80% of all diseases are caused by contaminated water. Actually, more people have a mobile phone than a toilet. One in 6 people in the world have no access to clean water. The last highest death rates recorded due to cholera are in Papua New Guinea, which are 830,000. And in Chad, it's 330,000. In Mali, it's 160,000. In Guinea, it's 140,000. And the lowest rate is in Mozambique, which is 60,000. Now, it is the lowest rate, but 60,000 isn't a small number. The global clean water supply as percent population, so the highest rates are in Mali, Guinea, and Madagascar, which is 50%. In Nigeria, it's 48%. In Fiji, it's 47%. In Niger, 46%. In Equinea and Mozambique, it's 43%. In Chad, 42%. In Cambodia, 41%. In Papua New Guinea and Afghanistan, it's 39%. In Somalia, it's 29%, and the lowest rate is in Ethiopia, which is just 22%, which means that 78% peoples in Ethiopia do not have access to clean water. That's it, and now, Mohammed Kalim, it's up to you.
Thank you, Ubaid. Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Ubaid Rahman. Hello, my name is Mohammed Kalim. As my teammate presented some problems about access of clean water, now I am going to present solutions for these problems. So first solution is reducing leakage method. For long-term success, the infrastructure of water typically requires a full fix. However, in short term, local repairs or sleeves can reduce leakage for the treatment, can reduce leakage in treated water pipes. Volume of water saved by this method, it is estimated that replacing aging pipes can reduce leakage from 10 to 20% to as little as 2%. Next solution is recycling water method. Recycling water refers to the purification of wastewater on a large scale for direct or indirect potable uses, whereby the treated water is released into another water body, such as a reservoir, before reuse. Volume of water saved by this method, volume of fresh water is extended. So this option is sustainable. Our next method is water pricing method. Increase the price of water to reduce demand and offset the real cost of providing it. Volume of water saved by this method is wastage of water is minimized. Fourth method is increasing the water supply. Conserving water alone will not be enough to meet the projected demand. New technology that makes unsafe drinking water to safe drinking water must also be used to increase the water supply. Such technology can be adopted on large scale or at a household level. Desalination is a process to increase the water supply. Most frequent method for desalination is through the use of reverse osmosis, in which a semi-permeable membrane separates salt from water. Numerous countries have adopted this method to solve their water problems. Volume of water produced by this method is, according to International Desalination Association, 13,080 desalination plants worldwide produces more than 12 billion gallons a day. That is 54.5 billion liters. Arab countries also have adopted this method to solve their water problems. Now, conclusions. Access to safe drinking water is already beginning to decline in the emerging markets due to growing demand for supplies of an increasingly scarce resource. Furthermore, the quality of drinking water is declining in many parts of the world, and increasing socioeconomic barriers, such as rising water prices, means the fewer people will have access to safe water. Economic growth seems to be dependent on high levels of access to safe drinking water. Decline in access to safe drinking water is expected to result in a higher disease burden, lower education levels, lower worker productivity, higher labor costs, slower economic growth. At last, I would like to say, clean and fresh water is a blessing of Allah Almighty. So please do not waste it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Can I now ask the remaining of the team to come to the stage for a series of questions?
boys, good presentation. I really liked it. There was one question though. One of your solutions was to increase the price of water.
Yes, sir.
Now there was a map that you showed that most of the water scarce countries are low economic or developing countries.
Yes, sir.
So there are two questions around that. So do you think increasing the price of water in those countries will reduce access or increase access to drinking water? And second, it also goes against the next point, which is increase the supply of water. Because if you increase the supply of anything, the prices may go down for that commodity. Yeah. So if you could elaborate on that.
Actually, so when there are low prices of water, everybody use it too much, as that is very low price. But when the price increases, everybody will use it very carefully. So that's why we are saying that to increase the water prices. And even last year we saw that over here in UAE, the water prices increased, which I saw the people around me, they are using water very carefully because the prices increased. And the water supply are for those people where there is no water supply at all. I gave some examples also of countries. So the water supply increasing are for those people. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned about the desalination. And you mentioned about some of the Arabian countries are using desalination plant in order to get the water. That's what we call blue water. Now, I'd like to agree what you just said about increasing the price of the water will decrease the demand. It doesn't go that way. I was speaker for the Big Five in Kuwait. Kuwait uses or charges 99 cents US for 1 cubic meter of water. Dubai charges $5.40 for 1 cubic meter of water. That has not dropped the water usage down per se. But one thing that will encourage us to understand, or will help us to understand, and that's why His Highness is asking for the understanding of innovation, sustainability, and legacy. If you can create the legacy by using understanding of the water footprint, I was hoping that one of us will come up with the word water footprint. As much as we talk about carbon footprint, water footprint is also another problem. So if you can highlight that, the water footprint, as a way to bring awareness, then it might do much better than just increasing the price of the water per se. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pakistani Islamic Private School, Alain. Guys, can we give them a big round of applause for putting in the hard effort?